what was most objectionable to you?
I have nothing against matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
I I mean, I think it's like I said, I liked Seema auntie. You know, she has a good heart, and at the end of it, yeah, she's running a business for sure, but she does want people to come together. Her heart's probably in the right place. I have nothing against matchmaking. I'm all for it. The objectional bit were the thought process. As in, like, different things that I picked up from different cases, like Aparna. You know, her mother, she was only 18, 19 when she got married. And she said that she didn't want to get married, and she got married. So probably there were a lot of bitterness. There was a lot of built up bitterness that kind of shaped up uh, that
Yes.
woman as she grew up to be in her 20s and 30s and 40s. And she eventually, the couple divorced. And she got her girls. And then when she brought her girls up, it's if you remember her clip, how she said that, I told my girls, I don't want 2 degrees, I want 3 degrees. I that dictatorial, that
Yes.
putting your kids on a pedestal. They're not your belongings. I mean,
I'm reminded of
you
that
nourish
poem
them.
by Gibran. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's exactly that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, you birth them, you nourish them, you guide them, uh but you there is no way that you get to dictate them. Come on. And then
Mm-hmm.
look what her upbringing uh, brought out. It brought out a girl like Aparna, who's I'm all for independent working women. But the fact that, I mean, look at her thought process. Look at how she was, categorizing her life, and trying to make sure that every it's your life is not a jigsaw puzzle. The pieces won't
Hmm.
fit. It's you're human. um there is, like how she said that, oh, so what, you get to see your husband every day? I mean, that to me was so, what, come on, what
Yes,
bubble are
yes,
you
yes.
living in, girl? Grow up and smell the seaweeds. um
To, I found it odd that Seema auntie said, this girl is too stubborn, this is too picky. A girl is picky, it's okay. But if Akshay says the same thing, it's challenging. Or Pradyuman says it, it's challenging. Why? The subtle, difference.
no, she called P stubborn as well a number of
Hmm.
times.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
mean, no, I guess, there's always a slight, maybe it's a very subtle thing. Maybe I'm projecting my own experiences about how people perceive women and men on Seema auntie. I may be there,
Oh,
but
at least at
yeah,
the time, my
Pradyuman wasn't. Yeah, it's not like she praised Pradyuman. I think, compared to people like that lawyer from Chicago, or who's that teacher from Austin, Vyasar. They were like the
you know
most
what?
genial kind of guys who, were there in that lot. How many
No,
guys
but
were there? How
I think as
many?
far as the expectations go, I at least my experience, not from Indian matchmaking, but actual Indian matchmaking, at least growing up, was that it was okay for boys to reject girls. It was okay for them to have a lot of demands, but for girls to reject boys, it was not equally acceptable
God
because then she would
forbid.
get
God forbid.
because then she
Because
would get a
I've been through the.
reputation.
And one more thing, this in Aparna's case, I think she is scared of giving up her freedom.
Mhm.
That is why she is finding flaws in everything, every proposal she's been given. She is, and she does, and uh, she's not expressing, but she does feel dejected when she's been told that that lawyer is not interested in her.
Mm,
Mhm.
She
mm.
does feel probably insulted, or
Yes.
she's sad to receive this kind of
She doesn't
uh,
like the sound of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I felt really sad when that astrologer came to her place, and how, and she sound desperate, and the way he was
Yep.
finding it out, and I was like, if this does not happen, what will happen to this girl? What will
Mhm.
happen to her? I
Yeah,
felt really sad.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then, oh my God, and don't even get me started on Akshay's mom.
God,
These
that
are the
woman
two
was.
characters of this whole program I have issues with. These are the two people I was.
I
Oh.
agree. I
Okay, so
agree.
Because I mean, look at Akshay. Look at the poor guy. I mean, I'm not saying that a poor guy because now that a child who's 18 plus has a mind of their own. So yes, although Akshay grew up to be a mummy's boy, but I mean, look at the way he he ended up being like. Look at what he was expecting out of life, and it's
Mhm.
so scary and so appalling that a gorgeous, beautiful girl actually ended up being his
With
With
him.
fiance. And I
yes,
mean,
Yeah.
really, my heart shudders for that poor girl. I mean, I don't know if like if she has like realized the whole deal that she's getting herself into. Like Akshay's mom's voice ringing in my head that, this is my house.
My
house,
house.
So
Hmm.
how she do you remember that scene in which the older son and his wife are sitting, and she's
Hmm.
saying that this year you will get married, next year they will have kids.
They'll have
yeah.
kids.
I was surprised to how come they're thinking, if in case the child comes first and the marriage happens later, what is going to happen with the poor couple?
What? that
Yes.
that I
And then
don't know.
there is another guy, Pradhamanyam. What was the name?
Pradyuman.
Oh
Pradyuman.
yeah.
Pradyum.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yes,
My God,
the
what a
liquid
character
nitrogen
he
Nutter.
fellow.
was!
Oh my.
What a
Liquid
character he
nitrogen
was!
fox nuts. My foot,
He's
man.
another nutter. Oh God. Oh God.
Yes,
And
but
Weirdo.
did you see
yeah,
how sensible his sister was?
Yes.
Like how grounded she was. My God, that girl.
Right.
That
I
girl
mean,
got married
the
so young,
Yep.
and life's experiences taught her, like she is so grounded. I was like, what, are you for sure real brother and sister?
same family.
Like, was he brought up on Mars? Like, this woman is so grounded, his
So,
sister.
so,
Yes.
so I'm going to
Wow.
interrupt. I'm going to interrupt for a second here. You have a point. Sometimes men and women are raised on different planets.
Different
yeah.
planets
This is
in the
no,
same
maybe
house.
in the same house. It's just that maybe Pradhama. I can't. I
Pradyuman.
sorry, I can't pronounce.
Let's call him P.
Pradyum.
Let's
Pradyum.
call
Yeah.
him P. Huh.
The P.
Yeah.
This guy P is maybe he is given importance. He's being raised in a different way, and his sister is raised in a different way.
Sisters,
Yes,
It
which is
happens
like the
very
everywhere.
often
daughters
the
are
case in
different.
Indian
Yeah, the daughters.
families.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering. So in Pakistan, the colorism, the fair dark thing, is
color,
it?
height. Yes, color, height.
Then so is the colorism on the wane, or is it the same as before? What is it? Because right now in India, at least Fair and Lovely was forced to. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
but
just a
that's
naam
more
ke
of
vaste.
a.
It's
It's
just
a
a
yeah,
superficial. They have to
yeah.
change their name to, I don't know, Fair and Lovely became something and lovely. They can't use the word
Lovely.
fair.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, but boys want
कुछ नहीं
fair
बदला.
girls. So what
कुछ
about
नहीं बदला.
Pakistan? How is it over there?
I think things have changed a little, but not much. You will find a big group of people who still follow this Gori Chitti Doctor Bahu, who ends up making roti at home.
Roti, round chapati.
Round roti. Round
Yes.
roti at home. You will
Mhm.
find, but there are people. There are people.
I think we're at that wall over there, and we're clueless as to how to, if there is a way, because we want them to see beyond it, but there's just no way, how to express it.
See, the problem is in the arranged marriage situation, if you're going to get rejected off the bat just because of skin color, so there's no way even for people to get to know what's beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that becomes a huge barrier, because that becomes almost like a initial chalni jo kehte hain na, you sieve out the people who don't have fair skin right away.
Yes.
And
And with
talking about
Nadia is a very sweet girl, but the way I really felt sad the way she was crying, that all her friends are
Married,
settled.
and
She's the only one left out. Oh my God, this was really, really,
And another thing
really.
about Nadia, the thing I found this was she's Guyanese of Indian descent. You look at her, she's Indian from every angle.
Yes.
But there's still, the fact that the people from the subcontinent say, "Oh, you're not Indian."
And there was this one case that they show in Delhi. The girl, she has her own business. What's her name? I don't remember her name.
Oh
Towards the
yeah,
end,
yeah. She has a garment business, and
garment
then she
business.
decides that she doesn't want to get into the marriage scenario at all, because
Yeah,
she's
and she
happier
meets up with
doing.
that Preeti auntie, and that Preeti auntie tells her that, you know what, if your husband decides to, uproot and go somewhere else, you should be ready to do it too. Like, and she's like, I've built this business up with like so much work. How come? So that is a genuine hurdle again for women. And in my, what I feel is that the key to independence or to having a say in the marriage or in anything is money at the end of the. So if a woman is earning, it doesn't.
Ultimately, that is the currency, looks like.
Matchmaking by itself, I think it's a good thing. If it's going to bring people together, great, wonderful. But it's all these other ills that come with it that make it problematic.
Yeah. So, it needs to be trimmed, and, kind of, it can, there's positives. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it. But, just let's look at all the, rough spots that are poking out from it,
Yeah.
and look at what it is, and from a human perspective.
And think more rationally about things, That's
Mhm.
the thing.